Holy snapping duck shit.
My good mate from Bump and Run Booker joins us.
I'm excited for another great show tonight. Give it the hoot nanny.
Hey everyone, welcome along to another show, Trackside with Kokpit, brought to you by our wonderful team at GARAGE16. Kins and books back for another Wednesday before we wrap up, would you believe? This month of May, most of the Speedway season around the country is just about wrapped up, if not only one more to go, King's birthday weekend up in the beautiful far north, Baypark Speedway. But books, mate, how are you going?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad, actually, mate. A little bit of rain here in the beautiful Hawke's Bay today, which is probably welcome, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, it's, we haven't had a lot of rain here in Hawke's Bay. It's funny, isn't it? You say you haven't had a lot of rain, but when it does rain, it's normally a rain out or something at a track, but that's not enough, you know, but yeah, man, it's a bit boring, actually. I'm trying to think to myself, what am I going to do with myself on the weekends? And, yeah, it's I'm not sure what to do anymore, mate, to be honest. Like a lot of people are probably all thinking, what do we do? But yeah, it's been an interesting week this week so far, just reading up. I've been actually surfing the old Facebook a bit lately, trying to look around and see what's happening and who's doing what to keep myself sort of up to date, which is something I don't normally do, mate, you know. Normally I just rely on you telling me each week what's happening. But yeah, and you know, we put our post up this week thanking everybody and telling everyone how much we appreciate them. So yeah, it's just been one of those weeks, mate, prepping for tonight's show.
Yeah, look, I was lucky to be part of the grand finale last Sunday and commentate over there as well. To a lot of people, a bit of a surprise, to be honest. And Mr. Marcus Tidd and his family organised it, and I arrived there and everyone goes, "Oh, you're the bloody surprise, aren't you?" I says, "What are you talking about? What are you doing here?" I says, "I've come to commentate. Why am I surprised?" At the committee meeting, was brought up as a surprise guest commentator. So I rock on in there, do what I do, and you know, congrats to all of those who picked up the CTRA title as well. I think our good friend Des won the street stocks as well. And the team's event was well done. And obviously Waikaraka before that was known as Rangeview. So they had some teams out there with a cutout snake on top of their roofs as the wing.
Yeah, I did get a picture of that, actually. Who said
would be Mark, most probably. Our
it was too. It was Bump and Run Shutterbug Mark. Yeah, he sent me a picture of it. I was like, oh, what's this? Yeah.
So they inherited the name the Rangeview Rattlesnakes for the day as well. The ladies got out there and done a teams race. Yeah, one of the tyres disappeared, but, you know, well done to everyone there as well. And I said, if I'm available on the Sunday, I'll come back and help them out. Always keen to help out wherever. This Saturday was, I was very looking forward to, mate, because we had Reed and Fiona on. And I was going to race some go-karts at Huntley Speedway, but they made the yearly call because the weather's not looking the greatest at that stage. And I've looked now on the weather map. Doesn't look like it's cleared, but anyway, they've decided to cancel it.
Oh, mate, you know, this is the old thing in it that we say all season, and it's a good thing we got all the promoters coming on at the moment as well. You know, how we talk about how you just said right there what people say. Oh, why has it been canned? You know, it's bloody fine now, but. Those are the calls you got to make. You got to look at the forecast and think, how early do we call something like this? You know, because people travel and they probably got carts coming up from the South Island and things like that. You know, for that event. And of course, like you say, it looks like it changed, but then it might change again too, because then there's some big front supposed to coming through anyway. So, but that's an interesting comment, an interesting statement. You know, like how often we heard that through the season, and people just don't realise what goes into making those decisions for promoters. I mean, it's not just about. It might clear up. There's all the factors, you know. There's the wet seats no one wants to sit on. There's the greasy infield that the car can't stop on and makes it more dangerous. There's just so many factors that we tend to forget when a rain off is called, and how much more has gone into it.
Oh, definitely. I think Red was going to try and chase me down on the go-kart. Well, good
Yeah.
luck with that. Fiona was telling everyone she was going to wind me off the end of the straight. But hey, you think for the likes of Paul, maybe and many others who got together to put this event on as well, and the feedback from the previous one, which was the big challenge there, everyone loved the track to have go-karts on, and, there was going to be the demo derby. But, we've got to wait. I think it's next weekend. They've got the prize giving, which I'm doing the Mad Dash to Gisborne. Then I got to come back and MC an opening of a pump track over in Waihee, and then I got to shoot over to Huntley after that. Holy hell, mate!
It doesn't end, sometimes, but it's all good fun. Yeah, we got that's for Joshy's thing. I think that's not next week; it's the week after. I think 2 weeks, isn't it? 2 weeks to go.
I hope not. No, it's next Friday.
Oh, shivers! It's next week.
It's next Friday,
shivers!
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, that's even put me out a bit, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. But that's for Josh Prentice's fundraiser on the Friday night to go to England and race over there. So we'll be a part of that, help with that. I hope those that told me they're coming. I think originally I tried to convince the Costellos to come and the Vaisies. So let's hope they're still coming. But anyone that's got anything they want to donate to be raffled off and auctioned off for that night, please get in touch or get in touch with Sam and Samantha at the Gizzy Track, because anything's appreciated to raise money that night for Joshy to head over to England. And everything helps,
Yeah, definitely. I'll be bringing over a couple of T-shirts that's got a lot of signatures on it as well, and a frame photo with a 123 NZ. Thanks to our good friend from Hawke's Bay Track. He gave it to us a little while back as well, so I got a few items I'll bring across with me. Oh,
yeah, forgot about that. Oh, Wayne Brunton gave us that big picture, didn't he?
I've still got him sitting here as well.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, we got a fair bit. So I'll bring those over. Look forward to it next Friday. And hey, for those heading up to the far north, safe travels, and just keep an eye on the Baypark Speedway page. I know Books and I had intended one part there to go up there because everyone talked it up. Everyone loves it up there. And I caught it with Fredo Morgan. They're going to head up there as well. And yeah, there's a few going up to that. So maybe the last hurrah in some sense for the Speedway season as such. Wayne Alton, Dave Thomas, how are you? Aaron Ferguson, Ian Wilson. Good to see the King of Wahoro back on the microphone on Sunday. Cheers, Wayne. I had fun, mate. Flynn Ashton, Marco, who joins us soon. Michael Harvey, mate. Just thinking of you and your family is of yesterday, mate. Just thinking of you, mate. Thomas Slater, who else we got? Samantha Kiss. Missed your show last 2 weeks, but I'm here tonight. Cheers, Tom. Thanks for that. There's Marcus and Kaylee Tid watching as well. Evening, Connor Tid. Connor joined me on the mic. Had a bit of a chat with them. Byron Brown, Darren Latwood, Pitapi Tamatia. Afternoon to you, mate. Bourbon Baz, Terry Smith, Paul Maybe, Lard Stevens will get through the list. But we got a fair bit to get through. And like Booker and I have said over the last few weeks, it's a chance to catch up with the promoters of the tracks. For them, it talked about the highlights of the season, some of the big events they may have scheduled for next season if the calendar's not being sent out. But also it's the important part where they thank the volunteers and everyone that's been associated with the tracks. And I'm guessing he's sitting there nice and patient. I tell you what, when it comes to technology, A-Box, we know this guy just does it just like
easy,
that.
Mate. Bruce is a technician guru. Hey,
not
Bruce.
Not really.
Right, I tell you what, Bruce, you really are compared to some of the guys we've had on our shows over the years gone by. You just kind of click in there just like that. But Bruce, welcome to the show. As always, it's a pleasure to have you on a Wednesday evening again.
Thank you very much. Yeah, looking forward to having a bit of a discussion with you guys.
Awesome. Let's reflect. Obviously, we'll stay up in the north, up here in Auckland, with the track up here, and let's just summarise the whole overall season. I know there were rainouts, and this just seems to be the typical of most tracks at the moment. But just some of your highlights from the season that was held up there.
Well, I guess the biggest highlights were the major championships we had. We had the New Zealand Street Stocks. And we had about 5 or 6 guys come up from Dunedin, which was absolutely amazing. A couple from Christchurch, and we rained out and carried on just the same. So we got to the end of it, and one of the Dunedin drivers, he won it. So it was to their credit. And they sort of worked together as a team too, which does help matters for sure. But they were pretty special bunch to come up, and then they hung around till we had the fine weather to carry on and finish the championship. Of course, the modifieds too. We had the New Zealand modified champs too, and Jacob Mitchell from Christchurch took that away, and then it was a slick track, and apparently that's the sort of thing they run in Christchurch, and it suited him right down to a T, and he took it away. The following weekend, of course, was the Dirt Cup, which is for the modifieds the most lucrative meeting for them, I guess, and young Brad Lane reversed the finishing positions, and he took out the Dirt Cup and the big prize money that goes with it. And we finished the season very early because of the reconstruction. They wanted to get underway at Waikaraka there for the $11 million rebuild that the council's doing there. So that Super Saloon Grand Prix was our last meeting on 5th of April, and that was the end of it. We missed out on our Easter meeting, which is, of course, great entertainment and bolsters the income for the season. But hey, they wanted to get underway and get construction going.
So,
sorry. You mentioned the modified champs, and I'm going to go there with this name. And you've been associated at the track for well over a decade, just maybe.
Yep.
JB Fox, how special was it for a guy that's raced, for many decades? Represented the modified 40 years.
He's been racing for about 40 years. So yeah, that was an awesome effort, and what a great guy and a great team he's got there. Jamo, who pays some of the bills, or most of the bills, I imagine, and helps out. And they've got a great car there, and they're reliable. They turn up when they say they're coming, and that sort of thing. There's no doubt about it. And it was a season-long farewell, really. We ran, I think, we had 7 meetings planned for the Foxy farewell, and I think we had to do it in 5 because of the cancellation of the latter part of the season at Waikaraka there. But it was a great night, and all his family were there, and they were lovely people, and they really enjoyed themselves, and it was a pleasure to be able to be involved and farewelling a competitor like that has put so much into it over the years and had so many fans out there.
Yeah, I just want to mention another name, talking of farewells. And yes, he may not be racing his super stock there currently, but he's raced there for many years. And I'm talking about Paul Vasey, who's been associated as a 351A back in the day. That's another driver that's given so much to the sport. He's also hanging up his helmet. Yes, he's going to have the rest of the family in the sport, but credit to him. He used to race in Auckland, and there's a lot of Vasey fans up there over the years you've been associated with it.
Yeah, the first couple of years that I came to Waikaraka, he was I guess, one of the instigators in getting me to come to Waikaraka and help them out up there. So, yeah, he's been around for years and a great competitor, and travelled about and changed camps now and again. But hey, that's their prerogative.
Yeah. He was at Palmy for a long time as well, wasn't he, Bruce, before he went up to Auckland?
He's well known right through the country, and is a hard charger when it comes to racing, that's for sure.
You're going to ask Sonny Box?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're talking about their reconstruction at Waikaraka. So what are they actually doing there? What's getting done to this as this rebuild?
Okay, I'll go through it. It'll take a little bit, but I'll get through and give you a bit of a rundown. For a starter, we're getting new pits. The pits will be very similar to Palmerston, with where you'll be able to come in with your tow vehicle and your transporter or whatever, work out of the back of it, and work on concrete or tar steel. I'm pretty sure it's concrete, and then that's in the area was the public car park, or about half of the public car park towards Onehunga from the track. They've chopped a couple of holes through their sacred stone wall, which is a hallowed thing, but the council have been able to get that done, which is a great thing, because it gives the cars an in and an out from their car pit area. There's a new concrete wall going in. The old wall is gone. It's been ripped down, ripped out. There's a new wall going in. There's a new safety fence, an extended safety fence. They're using most of what the original Waikaraka fence that I put in there about 10 or 12 years ago. And they're putting an extension onto the top of that, which will lean out over the track. There's a new track surface going in, and the track shape will be altered a little bit, not greatly. The pole line will be a very similar shape. Coming out of turn 4, they're going to be widening that a bit because previously you come through turn 3 and 4 and you suddenly ran out of room as you came into the straight. They're also going to widen turn 1 and 2, and the track will be banked to about a 10%. They're saying banking on the track, so it'll be still great for the stock car side of it, super stocks, but it'll also be great for the midgets and the sprint cars and the open wheel cars that'll be racing there as well. There's also new lights going in, and the toilet block, the old toilet block over by the cricket grounds, that's in for a major refurbishment as well. So there's plenty happening, and they reckon they'll have it done in time for the start of the new season. That, of course, will depend a bit on the weather over the winter, I guess, but we're planning to open November the 1st, I think it is, at Waikaraka, and practice a week before that. So let's hope that they get it done, but hey, if they don't, it'll be a huge asset to have for Speedway. So if we're a couple of weeks late, it won't be the end of the world. As it is, we've lost half of it this last season, or not half, the last quarter, I guess.
So that basically is we all know that the springs, that's done and dusted. So this is all going to help accommodate. Are you going to run like? Have you thought about how you're going to do it? Are you going to run like a 1 week will be sort of your open wheelers, and next week maybe something else? Or
yeah, that's the plan at the moment. There'll be Waikaraka meetings as we traditionally knew them, and we'll be running Western Spring style meetings on alternate nights. There's probably about, I've done a race calendar. It's getting presented to the AGM at the Waikaraka AGM tonight. So they're presenting the draft calendar. Of course, it's only draft because we still haven't got some of the North Island Championship dates and the Grand Prix dates, which we have to work around as promoters, because you can't run a class if there's a major SNZ championship on at the same night. We've got the super stock and stock car dates, but some of those other classes, and there's about I think there's about 13 or 14 open wheel nights and about 18 Waikaraka stock cars type meetings planned. So we're allowed to run 35 meetings at Waikaraka, which is great compared to the Springs, where they restricted us to about 10 or 12 meetings.
Wow.
And then you had to run 2 in some months and 3 in others, and that's all you're allowed to do. And then if there's a concert, you had to pull the fence down at a cost of about, and put it back up again at a cost of about $40,000. So, and you had, the moment 10:30 came, you went to go a second past that. So, and then you had all the restrictions of getting the competitors having to unload when they come to go racing and load up at the end of the night. I mean, it was usually 1:30 or 2 o'clock quite often before everybody got loaded up again and out of it. So Waikaraka will be a dream for them. They'll just pull in their big transporters and work from out the back of them, and at the end of the night load up and come up to the bar or head home, whatever fancies them.
So how's that overall been, Bruce? You know, we all know about the Springs. Everyone's still out there trying to fight it to keep it going and whatnot, but you've given the opportunity, obviously with the 10% rise on the track and how you're adjusting it a little bit. I would guess, you know, for a lot of them that are registered in Auckland, it's just a home away from home in some sense, and you'll be able to do some laps and get maybe 18 or 13 meetings in for the season? I'm guessing they're welcoming that.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of response from the open wheel side of it, but and of course the Waikaraka side of it are saying, hey, we've lost a few meetings from what we usually plan, but hey, they've got to look at it this way. The facility there will be magnificent, and it's certainly great for Speedway. And the next stage, of course, will be to replace the old grandstand that was demolished about 6 years ago, and with that will be new corporate area and all that sort of thing. So there's still progress to be made there, and improvements to be done, but with new lights and that sort of thing, it'll certainly be a great track for the live streaming and for the TV and that sort of thing.
Are you looking at, when you do the opening, you're talking around November 1st, and obviously you've got a mayor up there in Auckland. You're going to invite him along, mate, to tell him there's more people going to the Speedway track than that goes to the bloody dairy?
I think he was just winding a few people up that are winding him up. So he's a great one at getting a dig in, I think. So, yeah, no, he's a Speedway fan himself. He'd been to Western Springs many a time, and he knows exactly what goes on. But hey, when people start chewing your ear, I guess you do retaliate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all positive and good news. It sounds very positive and very exciting, to be honest with you. I think it can only be great for the sport to have it in one place like that. And if you're building a facility that can accommodate it all, you can't go wrong, can you, really?
And as long as we can accommodate all factions there, it'll be an awesome venue, that's for sure. I know there's nothing like Western Springs. It was a fantastic venue and a great place, and has a great history, that's for sure. I mean, 97 years of Speedway there, and then they decide that that's the end of it. They terminated our lease, or that I only got a 4-year lease for a starter, and with managed to get an extra year with spending considerable sum of money with lawyers and that sort of thing. We got that last extra year, but they've determined that they've got a different vision for the place. So, and it doesn't include Speedway, unfortunately, when it has been the home of Speedway now for 97 odd years. So, Palmerston, we've been going 96 years here. So,
wow,
two longest tracks and longest running tracks in the country for sure.
Well, you brought up Palmerston. We must also head down to Palmerston.
That's a good segue, wasn't it?
Segue into it. Yeah, no, a 97-year-old track, and now gone to a 96. I didn't realise that 96 years. That's a hell of an effort.
1930, Boxing Day 1930, we started at Palmerston.
Wow. Highlights. Forget about the teams. That's always going to be a highlight. What about the other events down there that you've hosted down there in Palmerston North?
We've had stock car teams here, and that was a great event. Lots of teams were keen to come and race at that. There's we had the North Island stock car champs as well, and that was at Waikaraka last year. But we had some really good stock car racing in Palmerston North. That's for sure. There's probably 35 to 40 cars registered, and then we always get a bunch from out of town. So at times we've had 60 stock cars there, and the pits are overflowing. And as it is, it's reasonable sized pits, but we have to go into the public car park and fence that off to accommodate everybody.
Yeah, I noticed that even at the final meeting there. I came down for your final meeting, and
did you? Very good.
And it's the first time in about 10 years that I felt the cold like that, Bruce. I'm born and bred from Palmy. I forgot what it was like. I was, geez, it's bloody cold here. But it was a good meeting. But yeah, I noticed that
it was a marathon of a meeting. It was about 5.5 hours of racing. So.
Yes. But I mean, to be fair, and my hat's off to you and your track staff and all your volunteers there, because that track was soaked, and you managed to get the top off it before racing and get racing out there, and it wasn't too bad of a track, I thought, anyway.
No, it was a very good track considering what we we had to get the grader in there for a starter to skim the top off it and truck 3 or 4 truckloads of track surface away to get to the harder, drier track surface below. So yeah, it was something that wouldn't have happened, except we've got an awesome team down here, and Puck and the boys do a tremendous job, and they know that track. We've been there, I don't know, probably close on 20 years. So we've learnt what we've got to do to make a race meeting.
Yeah, definitely. All right, the obvious one is the big Palmy teams, the 6-car deal, Bruce. I think overall everyone enjoyed the action on both nights. It was, I tell you what, me and Books hadn't seen a teams event like that, and what unfolded on Friday then went through.
It was unbelievable on that night, wasn't it?
It was like from the first race.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was just about the first race, first corner.
It was first corner, yes.
I guess everyone got their money's worth. There's no one complaining about it, aside from the obvious, and I don't want to go there with that, but overall, what a successful event.
It was. And yeah, I look forward to it every year. I guess I'm a real stock car enthusiast to be doing what I'm doing. But yeah, it's a great event, and it's always has its ups and downs. But yeah, that was a different aspect altogether by having the 6-car teams. And of course, it was done as a health and safety thing. I've seen several drivers injured in the last few years by hopping into a car that they're not really made to fit, and end up getting injuries, and it's just that's not good.
So can we expect the 6-car deal for the next Palmy teams?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think just about everybody's gone that way. You don't have to bring 6 cars, but you can bring 5 if you want to. But there's the opportunity there and you're not allowed to swap drivers between cars because of that's that health and safety thing again. We've got to do our best to keep our drivers safe, and by putting a driver in a strange car is not a good thing.
I thought the 6-car thing changed the whole dynamic of teams, I thought, because straight away you saw it in that, like you say, that first race, first corner, you knew you had 4 cars on the track, and no matter what happened, straight away before the race is finished, you've still got 2 good cars, haven't you? So and that made, I think it changed the whole dynamic of it.
Yeah. It's not the mad rush anymore to repair cars, and we're not waiting for cars to start the next race because they're still repairing. Because previous years we've had, guys, when it's time for them to go out, they've only got 2 cars that are ready to go, and so we hold the gates for them so that they can get 3 or maybe 4 cars ready to hit the track. But now with the 6 cars, it's a lot easier for them to plan going forward, and the team, it helps the team managers too, because they know they've got 2 drivers sitting back in the pits that they can rely on at least, and they've only got to bring 2 forward from the previous race.
Yeah, definitely. Bruce, when you kind of put the 2 tracks that you've been associated with up in Auckland, down in Palmy, you must got to say a special thank you to all the sponsors that have been associated with both tracks, all the volunteers, everyone that does the hard work behind the scenes.
Yeah, special thank you to Prestige Pools from up at Waikaraka there. He does a great job of promoting the track there, and gives away free tickets and all that sort of thing, and helps the whole thing happen. And of course, in Palmerston here, we've got NZ who've supported the teams champs for many years now, and are keen to continue doing so. And there are people like that are part of Speedway and always have been part of Speedway. They're, I guess, enthusiasts themselves, and they like to be part of it, and it's an opportunity for them to say thank you to their staff, and of course NZ brings staff from all around the country to the event for the teams champs, and take up 2 or 3 rows in the grandstand and corporate, and then over on the big south stand too, they take up quite a few rows there. There's probably 150 staff from around the country turn up for the event. So, it's great to be able to have them on board.
I tell you what's just as iconic for me, Kins, like I think of iconic things at different speedway tracks, and just as iconic at Palmy is the bloody Regent Motors Car of the Week that's been coming out for how many decades now, Bruce? I mean, and it's you've still got that going. And I drove to Palmy for that final meeting. I finished my season off in Palmy this year, and we're driving past our Regent Motors, and I even said to Madu Goodley, who was with me, I said, "Look at that. There it is, still sitting there. The whole town's developed around, and Regent Motors are still just sitting there in that spot." And I just think to myself, it's so iconic. And my mate Dion and I used to come and see Bruce and buy cars off his old yard. He had this trade-in yard that he had. And, it's an iconic thing. Jurassic Park. Yeah. And I think. Yeah, it's a great place for a bargain.
Oh, was it?
But yeah, the iconic Regent Motors Car of the Week, and you even see it at teams. You still come out. I think one year you bought a car out. You must have done up a bit and drove it up the wall, and it drove the fans mad. Have you ever thought about doing that again, just to have a bit of laugh?
That was Bill. We let Bill Dawn loose in the Car of the Week, and he totally out of control.
He drove it up the wall and everything. Oh.
And then we bought out a BMW once, and the monster truck ran over that. Reckoned he couldn't see.
I just want to say, because it is an iconic thing for me, being born and bred in Palmy, and just watching all that, it's just things that, certain things you think about at tracks that you always remember, so it's just something that I always sort of think, oh, here it comes again, half time. It used to be half time, wasn't it? There was always a half time at Speedway.
Oh yeah, but that's no longer.
No.
Do so many races and so many different classes that you don't have time. You take it very quickly, a car out and a car back in again, and the racing goes on.
So have you thought about, do you think about it now, building up to next year for the Teams Champs, what your support class will be? Do you look at that now, or do you leave it a bit longer before you start thinking about it? Because if you've got to bring...
Leave it to a bit closer to the time. I mean, people like those super saloons, there's no doubt about that. And there's, overseas drivers that have realised what's happening, and they're keen to come out to that sort of event too. So... who knows? No, we certainly haven't settled on the support class at this stage.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll be waiting in a couple of months' books, because in a couple of months, I'm guessing the early bird tickets for teens will go on sale. So I'm waiting.
Yeah,
like everyone else.
We'll be, you buy your ticket from Event Finder this year too, not Ticketek.
Okay.
It's just, it's not finalised, but that looks like... the way it's the arena who do the ticketing, they're favouring going with Event Finder. So,
that's a good thing to know, isn't it? So for those who are listening and watching,
we use Event Finder at Waikaraka, and we've found them very good there. So I'm sure we won't have problems. There'll always be the odd teething problem, I guess, with a new ticket provider, but yeah, we'll wait and see.
And you got a big one there this year too at Palmy with the Robin Pratt's a big one this year too.
It's one of the major meetings, that's for sure. Yeah.
There was 25 years.
25, I think it'll be.
Yeah.
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 It's, there's quite a few iconic meetings, I guess, at Palmerston. The David Lowe now too, which is a big following for that too. Well, that would have been on that last night there too.
Yeah. Ethan Rees took that one out. Yep.
Yeah. So there's always plenty happening.
All right, mate. Well, hey, look, thank you for joining us once again, Bruce. I know the AGM's up in Auckland at the moment, and you've got a fair bit going on up there at this stage, but we always appreciate you joining us on our show and giving us the highlights, the lowdowns, the build-up to teams events, and every time you talk to us. So again, thank you on behalf of us here at Kokpit, and also the viewers that love listening to you with all the updates. There's some exciting times ahead, my friend, and we look forward to catching up sometime soon, Trackside. So thank you.
Thank you for what you guys do for working on Speedway and building the enthusiasm for it. It's great to have people like you that get behind the scene and make it a great event that it really is, Speedway, for people in New Zealand.
Definitely, mate. We appreciate
Thank you,
everything.
Bruce.
Thank you.
See you later,
You have
Bruce.
a great
Thank you.
week. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There we go, Bruce. So there's something different there. So for your tickets for teams, a different place to buy it from. So that's something to be wary of if you're used to jumping on that one site for your team's tickets in a couple of months' time.
Yeah,
Make sure you get the right one and into it.
Yeah, don't be clicking on those other rubbish ones, but Event Finder. So confirmation on that. We don't know any month or when it is going to be at the moment. But what we do know is we're going to catch up and have a chat with Marco and Melissa from out of Baypark. The two of them are joining us, and here they are.
Marco's done his hair. He's made himself look all pretty because his hat was killing it.
Oh, it didn't even work. Look at that.
That's all good. That's all good. Hey, welcome into the show. Good to have you back. I know you said up and down type of last couple of weeks, but Marco, let's just start with you. And I can see you got a super saloon in the back, and I would guess one of the highlights of the season at Baypark was the New Zealand Super Saloon Champs.
Yeah, that was definitely probably our biggest meeting from last season, and pretty much can say it was an awesome meeting. It was 2 days of great racing, and unfortunately we lost it after 7 years, but hey, it went to a great winner. So Mark Osborne obviously taking that out. We've still got the 2 and 3, which is good enough, and we'll just recollect that number 1 next year at Miami.
Did you just say lost it after 7 years without an end to it?
Baypark held it for 7 years, so every registered driver for the last 7 champions were Baypark drivers.
Dude, I remember him telling us that, Kins, at the build-up show.
Well,
he wasn't paying attention, eh, Marco?
No, obviously not.
I was just thinking 7 bloody years, no other
And that was his reaction when you told him too.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's the home of super saloons, we've got to say it. But, you know, the drivers that come out of Baypark, the talent when it comes to super saloon drivers is just extraordinary, you know. So
Yeah.
From the past and the present. So we're pretty lucky with that.
Yeah,
After all the weather debacles, we had like the Bill Buckley Classic for the first time. There was a $10,000 prize pool, and that really pulled in some superstars for the winter cars. The Hokie Ashby Memorial as well, another one. We've got a good relationship with Horse and them now to be able to work with them and get it done properly. So that was a great meeting just to see those super stocks, and you saw them, you were there, and just how loud they are. And everyone enjoys that. And of course, the Midget World Series over Christmas, that all led up to the New Zealand Super Saloons and that North Island Championship. Another one that old young Joel Myers Jr. took. I didn't think he'd do it at Baypark, but he did. So it wasn't too bad of a season if you just eliminate the couple of rain-affected ones we had.
Yeah, exactly. You know, most tracks go through the rain effect as well, and Bruce elaborated on some of that when he was on just a few minutes ago. But man, when I watched the sprint cars here and me and Books are there, you know, we just jump on the edge of our chairs, you know, to see SVG. And I went up to Shay and I said, mate, I'll beat you hands down any day. But aside from that,
we had 2 major highlights that didn't actually happen at our track, but they're still major highlights. I mean, got to be pretty proud of the Busters and their performance and what they did, and just the growth that the Busters have got now with these young guys coming in, and Kerry and Horse still being able to teach them. And obviously they're doing a good job, and I've got a funny feeling you might see them a little bit closer to the top of the podium pretty soon. Yeah. And then I think a lot of us were either on live stream or on our phones on my laps, but Todd Hemingway picking up the New Zealand Superstock Championship. What a proud moment for an amazing young driver, so humble, and it's the future of that class. And we're lucky that he's Baypark registered. 50 years since we had that championship, so lost the Super Saloon once. We'll just keep this one for another 7, eh?
I wouldn't mind it if Horse won, so.
Same. He might have something cool and flash. I don't know. We'll tie a rocket to the back of him and make it happen.
I was just thinking, every time me and Kins come to Baypark, the weather's brilliant. So maybe we should just turn up there more often, Kins. We bring the sun, mate. Hey? That's what you need, eh, Melissa?
Yes,
lights like us.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know, just from Books and I, and this is for both of you actually, and we do appreciate you allowing us to walk around and do our interviews with the drivers as part of a build-up. And over the times we've done that, we've actually created some other people decide to jump in their car and bring their families to the track to enjoy the race meeting. But the other part of that is when Marco's seeing Books, and then us two go out to the commentary box, and I jump and then have a bit of a chat with Marco and also Steve as well. And it's just that experience. So thank you both for allowing us to be part of that. You know, that's what makes it
just
cool.
Just don't put me on the big screen again.
You've got to be lucky too. And I think Bruce really picked on that with his interview, picked it up as well. keeping the positivity, and there's people out there that are spreading the positivity, and if we can help them to do that, it's going to make the sport a much happier place to be a part of.
You know what I like about you, Marco, is you're really good at what you do, mate. You're a class act. And I said that to many people, you know, how you are on the mic, how you conducted yourself on the infield, how you scoot around on the little bloody mule thing and interview the people. Mate, you bring the fun, you bring the laughter, but you bring the energy. Hey, Box, we heard him on the microphone, what he brings.
It's unmedicated ADHD, I believe.
It's something, mate. Good on you.
Right? But no, thank you. You know, it's all about passion, and I've been passionate about Speedway for, don't tell people my real age, over 40 years now, you know, and Western Springs gave me that love, and I've been to Huntley and worked there, and I'm lucky enough that Melissa brought me down to Baypark. And
look.
Today it's Speedway,
yeah. There's a Speedway fan just flew in, mate. Look.
Yeah.
Oh, Darcy.
He's our personal assistant.
He's pretty cool.
You never hear about.
Yeah. I suppose, you know, and both of you can elaborate on this, the track doesn't run without the hard work and the passion of people, and you've touched on it, Mark, and I know Melissa's passionate as well. But there's a lot of people that do the volunteer stuff, and one of the things we spotted, Books and I, was the guy that does the the flag, and how he had the little numbers clicking over, which is a cool thing.
I've seen that at other tracks now, and a couple of other tracks in the South Island did it as well. I thought, someone's coffee in Baypark.
But it's the volunteers, it's the people that turn up there and spend the whole day there, basically until the end of the racing, and do what they need to do. You know, these those people you got to thank. There's just so many of them.
Yeah, you know, they call them volunteers. To us, their family. We're lucky. A lot of them were there before we arrived, so we were the last people to come into the house. And that's Rafiki. They got Rafiki and Zazu as the Lion King.
I'm like Dr. Dolittle.
So as long as your husband doesn't come and jump on a desk next.
Yeah, but like I said, they're family to us. A lot of them were there before us, and you know, they already knew what they were doing. And I think they just needed a little bit of more, not so much guidance, just somebody to lead them, lead them in a way that was strong leadership and a happy workplace. And Melissa came in and provided that all for them, and now they do their job. They do it so well, and even down to the guy that I can't do a cartwheel if you paid me to. So this guy does about 30 in the night, and he makes me dizzy. I get vertigo watching him. It's unbelievable. Our crash crew are amazing. Even the lady at the gate, she knows every single person's name, and we're not talking about the drivers. She knows the passengers too. Everybody knows their job, and they do their job so well. And without any of them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
Totally agree. Totally agree with you 100% on that, mate. Melissa, we might as well bring you into this little chat. And it's a thank you, too, for everything you've done for both of us, for being part of the Baypark facility as well. And you're running around here, there. You're stuck in your little corner of the building there at the track. But you run a pretty good ship, to be honest with you. And the approach that both the Booker and I had with you has been very approachable. So I do thank you for that. But what's it been like, honestly? You know, that promotional end of things, and everyone's got their own say, Melissa. We're talking about this off air. But what's it been like this season in your mind as a promoter?
Oh, look, every season brings its challenges. And then I guess sometimes it can beat you down as a person. So, it's hard. It's a challenging position being a promoter. There's just so many facets and so many people you have to try and appease, but I think you just have to wrap your head around not being able to do that. But I enjoy the job, like I do. Like I did a podcast with Christian Hermanson last week, and it's funny. One of his questions were, "Do you like Speedway?"
Oh, wow.
And I said to him, "Do I like Speedway? Yes. Do I love Speedway? No. You know, but I love my job. I'm very passionate about my job, and I'm passionate about the sport because I'm passionate about my job. But I think that gives me a unique perspective on Speedway. Excuse me. And I'm not emotionally invested in the sport as well, which I think is beneficial, because I think sometimes if you're emotionally invested in the sport and one of the drivers or one of the classes, you can make some decisions that are not so good for the sport. But yeah, so I look at things from an outsider's. I look at it from an outsider's perspective. So I guess that's probably why you probably think my show's so good. It's because I look outside the Speedway box, so to speak. You know, and what would entertain me as a person that would just walk off the street and go and watch Speedway, because that's the person I am. I would like, if I left Speedway, of course I'd follow it because now I understand the sport, but I would probably, like, quite honestly, in the whole country, I'd probably go to 5 meetings in a season. Yeah. I'd pick and choose which meetings I'd go to, but it'd only be about 5. And I guess because I don't get to watch a whole night of Speedway as well, so I'm quite often working. So when I do go watch a night of Speedway, I struggle because it's quite long. I don't realize how long, when you're not working, it's a long show. And I guess because I come from Western Springs, and then I've gone to Baypark, and we had such tight curfews. We just go fast. Everything's fast. So when I go to a track with no curfew, I can find things can be quite slow, and I'm like, let's move. And coming from Western Springs too, I started with a man called Lewis Dawson, who was from Woodford Glen, and then I finished with a man called Greg Mosen. And they're both fabulous men, and they both had different management styles, and they promoted the sport differently. But I seem to be able to take a little bits of both of them. And that's why I am who I am today, because they were such fabulous leaders, and I learned everything off them. I mean, it took me, I think, 13 years to get the job. And I said, I swear to God, I'd never do that job. It looks so bloody tough. But the opportunity came, and I wanted to leave Auckland, and I thought, shit, give it a go. And I was so nervous, but my husband used to say, you can do this. You'd be great at it. And I doubted myself so much, and all of a sudden I got there. But it's not just me. It's my team. Shit, yeah. Like, they just seem to make things work, you know? And I try and create this environment. Like I always say to people, we're here because we want to be here, not because we have to be here. So let's just be cool and happy. And I don't micromanage anyone either, because if you try to micromanage everybody, shit,
it's over.
You just can't. You literally, it's impossible. So you just let those people do what they're good at. I'm no better than you guys. I'm just here to say, oh my God, if there's a problem, let me know, and make it right and carry on, you know?
I love it. I love what you're saying there as well. And I can tell that's spoken from the heart with how you delivered. And I loved your analogy of it earlier on in your little piece there as well. But we're going to move into the part why you've come to join us. And I'm quickly just going to share this, because all over the social media, a lot of people have seen that banner kind of go up. Because everyone's kind of read into the news that was released on social media. And pretty well it's keep the heart of Baypark beating. There's a fair bit been going on behind the scenes. You want to elaborate a bit more where things are on at the moment, please, Melissa?
Yeah, so people may think that this has just come about, but myself, Bill, and the club have been going through this for over 3 years now. Like this started 3 years ago. Like I left Western Springs, came to Baypark, thought, oh, cool. And then like, no shit, this is my French. About 8 months later, I'm in the same battle. Oh my God, what's happening? So we've been fighting this fight, for 3+ years. Anyway, last year, Tauranga was run by the commissioners. We didn't have a council. So we got this deal, and this deal actually went across the line, and the commissioners signed it. And we were like, oh shit, cool, we can buy the stadium. And then what happened, we had to, so there's Tauranga City Council, and there's a subsidiary of Tauranga City Council called Bay Venues Limited. And we share the land with Bay Venues Limited. So we had to negotiate, we started negotiating the finer details with them. And to be quite frank, they held it up. And I think that was quite purposeful, because they were waiting for Tauranga City Council are on our side. Bay Venues, they want us gone. Not sure what they want to do with the land. But I think it was purposeful they did that, because what had happened while they were holding up the agreement, the new council got elected, and they were like, oh, well, we're not so sure about this deal, so we're just going to look at it. And so months had gone past and got kind of gone by, because there's obviously bigger issues in Tauranga than just Speedway.
Yeah.
Finally, they got to the table and they looked and they said, actually, shit, this is quite a good deal. However, we're selling the assets to the ratepayers, so we have to ask them if this is okay. So we're currently in the public consultation stage. So it's a little bit different from Western Springs, because they're going through the same thing. However, they've got two other people that are like, they've got the football guys, the Mulberries or something, and they've got other people vying for the space where we don't. Yeah, it's either we buy it or we don't buy it.
Okay.
Now, if we buy it relieves the ratepayers of so much money, because Bill's going to take over the maintenance. They don't have to bother. One thing that's going to get a lot of people, I think, because human nature suggests you don't really read through too much documentation, right? So the first line says we're buying it for $1. You know, so people are going to go, who's this guy swanning in and buying our shit for $1? You know?
Yeah.
However, what we're going to buy it for $1, we're going to keep it, like our lease is going to be extended till 2039. We're going to make all these improvements. We're going to sell it back to the Tauranga City Council for $1.
Right.
So what we need, basically, that kind of in a nutshell, there's so much more to it. What we need is everybody's support. Now, this survey that's on Tauranga City Council's website is not just for Tauranga residents. It's for everyone in the country. So you guys can go and answer it and say, I visit Speedway, and they're going to ask you why you think this is a good idea, that it goes under private ownership. And you can be open and honest about why you think it's a good idea. But let me tell you guys, Speedway lovers, it's a good idea because Bill needs to stay in the sport. That's basically what it is. If there is no Bill, if there's no Baypark, well, if Bill decides to walk away from Baypark, no one's going to pick it up. So Speedway in Tauranga is going to die. And Bill is only going to continue with Baypark if he has this deal, because he wants some flexibility and freedom to be able to run the Speedway how he wants, and some longevity for the sport. And it's hand on heart, it's because he loves the sport. There's no hidden agendas with Bill and I, like nothing whatsoever. In his heart of hearts, he loves the sport and is trying to do the best thing by it. So we truly, like, I can't express enough to everybody that's watching, please go and fill out that survey and please support us, because if we lose Baypark, we lose Bill. Speedway loses Bill. It'll look, certainly, I mean, I guess it will survive, but Bill throws that pizzazz on the sport, you know, like here's this big stadium and we televise it. Like, I mean, we have such great, you know, live streaming. So there's so many benefits of Bill being in the sport, and it will change immensely if he leaves.
Okay.
So, yeah.
No, I totally understand where you're coming from, how you are explaining it as well. I can actually read and feel the emotions that you are delivering with this on our show tonight as well. And I've just put up the link once again, and that's where you can go and check it out. And there's a fair bit of coverage around the social media at the moment. So jump on board. Like Melissa has said, you don't particularly have to be within the Tauranga area. Any Speedway fan, jump in there, and it seems to be, I would guess, and we've had Rodney Wood on our show a little while back to explain the situation in depth from his point of view.
It was a couple of seasons ago,
Yeah, he come and joined us.
That's how long it's been going on for, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really taken its toll on some people, like, especially Rodney, like he's taken a step back from it now, because it's been hard on us all, you know, but we are so, you know what, we are so close.
Yeah,
we are close. That when we were in Auckland, we were never this close.
Mm-hmm.
And I, in my heart of hearts, believe that we're going to win. And I think the more people support us, the survey takes you 5 minutes. Honestly, that's all it takes you. And I think we're going to win this. But this is still a call for help from everybody.
Yeah.
to just get in there.
And it's not just a help too from Speedway as well. There's another event that happens in there for those drift car fans out there. They have the D1NZ, which the track transforms into a circuit. And we know there's a lot of fans that come along to enjoy the facility of what it has for that particular sport. So, even though we discussed a lot of Speedway today, please share the information to all you D1NZ fans out there, you drift fans out there. The more feedback they will get and the more people participating can only but help, as it says, keep the heart of Baypark beating. That means so much.
Than that too,
It is.
Not just drifting and Speedway. Like, think about it. If there's no Baypark, what could it be? What will they put there? It might be houses. You could lose the stadium and stuff, and that's a sad thing to lose the whole lot. Like, they need to think of the big picture. So help us keep the heart of Baypark beating. That's what it is.
Well, and actually in the public consultation documents, you'll quite clearly see that there is no funding and no plans for redevelopment for that site. So if we do walk away, I could pretty much tell you that's going to be a derelict stadium sitting in Tauranga that's just going to fall to bits. And that's no good for the city. Why not utilise it? So they have said, the council have said that there is no funding. There's no immediate plans for that space. I mean, there's dreamers that want to put something there, but there's not.
Yeah, you're right with that. Like, I recall from back in the old days, the old Baypark, when that whole thing come to a closure, it was a sad affair, and I went to the finale of that, and it wasn't that. It also had a tarmac track, and people who are watching show will remember the good old days, the classic V8s and the trucks back in the day, and that was a very, very sad moment down Given Road, and now it's all got bloody houses there. Interesting times ahead, books, where some of our Speedway facilities are currently in a similar boat. We've just had Bruce on talk about the Springs and how they're kind of making things work for their class of cars to come in and be part of them. And, I would guess Baypark may have been another avenue for some of those cars to race down there as well. And there's other tracks around, but geez, aren't we living in a bloody tough world at this stage?
Well, yeah, I think another thing too is that we never saw, we don't see, is it's tough out there for families and people as well at the moment, and it has been for a while, which makes it harder for us to get our bums on seats. But we can't lose another track. That just would be in my book, that'd be devastating. I think we've all just got to get behind this and support it. And just get behind it. I mean, put your voice, lend your voice, use your voice of positivity instead of negativity, and do something great. And that's what you can say. I was a part of that, and that's something special to say. But there is a comment there in the comment section. Is there a reason you don't do modifieds at Baypark?
Oh, look, when I first walked in, I had 8 classes. Or did I have 9? Maybe.
9. Yeah,
I had 9 classes, and I have 3.5 hours to run a show.
There you go.
I've still got 8 classes, and I've got 3.5 hours. I can have I can have up to 20 shows a year, but I financially can't do that. So I have 12 shows. So you try, and then to contract these classes, you have to have at least 5 shows on the calendar for each of these classes. And I can't fit in anymore. I've been asked multiple times by multiple classes, please can we run at Baypark? I can't even run what I've got. So
there you go.
Running them once too. It's not that she doesn't want to or she couldn't, but if you run them once, one of her classes has to drop out, and that's not fair for a class that's actually supporting Baypark by being contracted there.
Yep. Well, there you go. That answers the question for the people in the comments. So easy, simple.
Yeah. I'd love to give it a crack, but I just don't have all the time in the world, and I can't put on I can't hold 20 meetings. Because some of them would be charity meetings for the drivers. It's just not feasible. So.
And modifieds are a cool class. Huntley made me fall in love with them.
Me.
Yeah. Well, people have got good memories from back in the day when they ran a special modified event at Baypark, and it's the battle between Jamie Foxx and Scott Lane. Hops, and they just went side by side the whole bloody thing. And it's an interesting one, but you're right. You only got 3.5 hours, like you say, Melissa. You've got X amount of classes you've got to work with, and you got to be loyal to those ones that kind of turn up regularly and be part of the bigger picture, I would guess. And the other bigger picture of this is what we just discussed around getting your support. Look, it's on these social media. There's the platforms there, Facebook, Instagram. Marco's got it plastered every bloody place. No doubt he'll go put some signs up on the roundabouts. Hopefully no one steals those. But let's go put some signs up everywhere and see what we can do, eh?
I just want to add something to it. Like if you do know us and you know who we are, please try and keep the message positive about trying to acquire. There's a lot of people saying, "Oh, Tauranga City Council this, Tauranga City Council that." No, let's be positive about this and let's just back us and just say good luck. And we don't need to run people down with it. We move forward. So let's just move forward positively, because I want the council to see us working with them as well. So I don't want a hatred spewed at those guys because we've made it this far. Let's just move forward positively and cross our fingers. Yeah.
Well, I would guess on that positive note, remaining positive, because that's what we're all about on the show, is being positive, and our posts on our page actually reiterated that, how to be nice to everyone out there as well, and thankful to everyone. Those two words can go a long way. And that is simply thank you, which we don't hear a lot about these days. And these two here, and many of the volunteers and the other workers at their wonderful facility, will say thank you to you if you take part in the little survey as well. Do your little bit. Again, on behalf of everyone around the Speedway fraternity, we enjoy the work, the mahi that you two do at your track, and appreciate you getting quite in depth on that, Melissa, but Marco giving us a rundown on the highlights, and we'll definitely keep in touch. But again, thank you from our viewers, from us too, at Trackside with Kokpit, and I appreciate your time again, eh?
Thank you. Thanks for having us. We appreciate you too.
Yeah, thank you for your support, guys. And just before you go, I've actually got a cousin that drives Speedway, and he says hello to me every time. I never say hello back. So, hi, Carl. Carpendale.
Carl hasn't been on the comments today, Carl Carpendale, this time.
We're not having TQs at Baypark. I've asked. It's still a no, but hi, Carl.
Another cars, TQs. Jesus Christ. No. That'd be dangerous around Baypark. It's so big.
They're fast. They're actually fast little cars. They're really cool to watch. Really cool. All right.
Buy a midget, Carl. Buy a midget.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it. I know he's been thinking about it. Hey, as always, enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your King's birthday weekend. And we'll definitely catch up sometime soon. Once again, thank you both.
Thanks for taking your time.
Bye.
2029, we got it.
2029.
Let's do it.
39.
Let's rock this chicken.
Yeah, let's do it. See you later.
Bye.
Thanks, team.
Really cool. Really cool. Wow, there you go. Straight from the horse's mouth in regards to what you're reading on the good old social media. You don't get it any better than that from Melissa.
And that's it. Just get on there and sign the petition, do the things that you need to do, and you can do it in a positive light. There's no need to have any negativity against it. It's all about being positive, showing a united front together, and getting it done.
Definitely. As soon as you start getting bloody yanks in that, it's just going to go backwards. We need that positivity. That is it. Cheers, Mike. Enjoy the comment. How's Stacey? How are you? Wayne Brunson, mate, you going all good down there? Scott Honeybow remembers the International Sprint Car meeting. I do too. Philip Steiner, Bevan Gilgore, and the rest in there is. Look, we appreciate. Where do we find the survey? Tony, if you just go to Baypark's Facebook page, and there you'll see the information there as well. And it's a bit of a link there, so it's pretty easy to get into, mate. I might share it a bit later on as well. I'll send you a message with it. Other than that, once again, thanks everyone for joining the show. We do it next week. We continue on Wednesday, catching on more track promoters, and thanking all those volunteers and everyone associated with their events. It's part of our travel down the country, and be safe over the weekend. If you're going up north to Taipa, be safe heading up there, and let's hope the weather turns out perfect for you up there for the big meeting. But otherwise, enjoy your King's birthday weekend. Catch you back on Wednesday.
Thanks, team. See yous.
Yep.
Holy snapping duck shit.
My good mate from Bump and Run Booker joins us.
I'm excited for another great show tonight. Give it the hoot, Nettie.